Hey guys, today we're talking about why you lose clients, but not when it's your fault. Because I think if it's your fault, you know why you lost your client. We're going to talk about why you lose clients when you've done nothing wrong. Hi Jasper. Let's go for a walk. The most common reason would be internal corporate shifts, and within that, I think the most common reason you lose a client is because your point of contact has either moved on to a new role or they have moved on to a new company. A new person comes in and they want to use their preferred vendor or sometimes their friend. Early in my career, I had a regular gig at a kids space photographing birthday parties. Nothing glamorous. I only made like $350 a birthday party. But if I was lucky, I got like 2 of them a month, which to me at the time, early career, really mattered. I had that job for a few years. I went through several managers because their turnover rate was really high, but they always passed on my information until finally someone just didn't, or they passed it on and the new person really just wanted to use their friend. Another situation is that I had a client who regularly hired me for events in the summer and I did not hear back from them. After a while, I decided to check their LinkedIn profile and I realized they had a new role. So the emails I was sending wasn't even reaching them. It's really common. There isn't really much you can do here. You just have to hope that they will pass on your information. It's not like you can find out they're moving on. Sometimes you do find out. I have had clients that have been like, hey, I just want to let you know I'm moving on to a different company. In that situation, you can, of course, encourage them to pass on your information, but if they love you, they probably will. Another reason can be how they go about hiring photographers. So sometimes what happens is they bring in a different PR agency, they bring in a different production company, and they're the ones that hired photographers. Maybe they hired you directly, or maybe you shot for an agency, or you shot for a production company, and now that client that you shot for them has hired a different agency and you're just not going to get that job. That can be pretty common as well. So if they don't get the job, you don't get the job. So real quick, this is part of a new series of videos I'm doing in which I am basically fleshing out ideas that will eventually go into my event photography book. If you want to support the channel, please check out Patreon, like and subscribe. One frustrating thing for me when dealing with production companies is that they are a middleman and they are looking to basically make a profit off of your fees. So there is somewhere around a 30% markup on your rate. And sometimes they just pass that on. So whatever you shoot, whatever you charge, they add a 30% fee to it. But other times, I suspect, because this is not my background, is that what's going on is that if you're shooting for a premium brand, let's say you're going to shoot for Gucci and they have the money, they don't care what your rate is. If they feel you are the best photographer for the job, they are going to hire you. But I think what happens is when you get a middle person involved, they are seeing an opportunity to bill for, let's say, $500 an hour, but find a photographer that only charges $200. So that has been an issue in the past, and I think sometimes you can lose gigs just because the money's not making sense for the middle person. And then we also have mergers and acquisitions. Companies combine, companies get bought, teams get reorganized. Maybe the bigger company that bought the company you were working with has their own photographers, etc., and you can lose that work. Okay, popping into a deep squat for this one. Next we have, what do we have next? So quick side note, I dropped my camera today, just now while filming. I've never dropped my camera. It was on a table and I don't know, the janky tripod, GorillaPod I'm using just kind of tipped over, and luckily I only destroyed my recording device. Still sucks, never happened before, but please support the channel because I don't really make very much money on YouTube. It's not really how I make my living, and now it seems to be costing me money, so like and subscribe. Okay, next we can talk about financial realities. Sometimes a company simply folds. They're gone, you don't get the work anymore, obviously, but you can also deal with budget cuts, and marketing can be the first to go. Now, if you're a early, mid-career, mid-tier photographer, you're going to hurt more when there's an economic downturn. However, when you're at the higher end, you're a little bit more protected from this kind of thing because, like, do you think Google's not going to do their big summit? You know, big companies do what they're going to do, but it can impact you nonetheless. So I currently consider myself in my late career. I think I have high-end clients and I have a higher end rate, but I have noticed there has been a bit of a downturn lately. And I suspect what happens is as mid-tier photographers suffer a bit more, as photographers that tend to work less get less and less work, they lower their rates, and that has an effect on me, where even though I'm not competing on price generally, I really just provide excellent value at a high rate. When a lot of people are lowering their rates, it gets harder and harder for companies to justify hiring the photographer that might be double the rate. As a policy, I don't compromise on my rate. Economic downturns is a part of this job. I'm very well prepared for it, so it is what it is. Oh my God. Next, we can talk about event and strategic pivots. Sometimes an event is a floating event, meaning it takes place in a different city every year, and it's not taking place in your city any longer. I know people think photographers travel a lot, and some do, but the reality is most of the time, it does not make sense to hire a photographer in another city. There's great photographers in every city, and if you're on the high end, especially with your rate, and then you're also gonna have to charge a travel fee, it can make little sense for your client. It doesn't matter how much they love you. Also, sometimes massive multi-day summits turn into virtual events and they don't need a photographer anymore. There can also be greater pivots away from photography. It could be geared toward more influencer marketing and video production and that kind of thing, and that really is beyond your control. Of course, you can become all of those things if you want. I've done this for a while and I'm riding it till the end. I innovate, I change, I adapt, etc. But I am a photographer. I'm not interested in becoming an influencer. I'm not really, I do offer video, and that is, I think, a good decision for photographers, but I personally hire a team for my videography needs because I really believe in focusing on one thing. Okay, number 4, which I would argue is actually a good thing for you, is that you simply outgrow them. Let me set my camera down without dropping it this time. It's natural as a photographer. You grow as a photographer, you spend more on gear, you get better, you start to work more, and you raise your rates. And sometimes you simply outgrow your clients. They can no longer afford you. Personally, I will give my current clients about an extra year before I raise my rate on them. So I tend to raise my rates yearly. And so I might not raise it on past clients. If you're a new client, you're paying the new rate. If you're my past client, you get an extra year. But I have had clients that I know they loved my work. They've even described themselves as fans of my work. They've told me how every photographer they've worked with didn't compare. And I'm not trying to boast. Yet I have lost them. I have lost them not too often, but there have been definitely 2 confirmed times where I outgrew my client and they no longer felt like they could afford me. I think it has been a mix of economic realities, because it's not that I even raised my rates on them. They had paid the previous rate previously and they were fine with it. But economic realities, maybe some new people come into the company, a combination of all the reasons I've talked about, and they no longer feel like the math is there to hire you. It's unfortunate, but it's a good thing. It shows you, you outgrow people. You should grow with your career. Do you want to be static? Are you going to charge the same rate for 10 years? Are you not even going to adjust for inflation? As you develop as a professional, you should be charging more. That's what I've done. And when they can't afford me, it hurts a bit, because in some ways, I've grown attached to my clients. I've enjoyed working with them, and losing them is never fun. So that's about it. Thanks for watching. Again, this is part of my event photography book series where I'm really fleshing out ideas. You can support this channel. I'm not selling you anything in these videos by just liking and subscribing, and you can check out my Patreon page. And there's a free option if you just want to join. I do post periodically there, not as much as I should, but I will. Maybe. Look, here's the reality. I'm not a YouTuber. I don't see myself as one. I never have. Being on camera is not easy for me, even if it sometimes appears that way, as I've been told. I like to be behind the camera. I make my living from photography, and so it gets really difficult to prioritize this. I enjoy helping people. That's why I do it. but when I'm not even making a fourth of what I make in an hour as a professional photographer, it gets really difficult to justify. But I'm committed to helping people, and I'm committed to writing this event photography book. It's really important to me. Now that I'm in my later career, I feel this like pull to like take everything I've learned, everything I've accumulated, the skills, the knowledge, the experience. I want to put it somewhere because I don't want to do this forever. And when I stop doing it, I just don't want that to disappear into the ether. I want to like put it into something that I feel like can help the next generation of photographers, and that's why I'm writing this book. So thank you for joining me on this process.